Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 39th week. Yay, we've made it. I really didn't think I would make it this far. I had it in my head that I was going to have this baby so much sooner. This is actually the furthest I have ever been in pregnancy. My children, I'm sorry about the yawning. There's so much of it right now. My children were all induced, and my youngest is 12, and in that time that it's been since I had my son, a lot has changed in medicine. So back when I had him, there were no, or at least it's my understanding, the regulations weren't as strict as they are now about elective inductions. So I had pretty much had all my kids in the 38th week. I had, let's see, so Spencer, the youngest, was due, I believe, the 29th of June, and I had him the 20th. My daughter was due the 26th, and I had her on the 12th. So, I mean, maybe even like 37-ish weeks. And then Devin, my middle boy, was the same way. So I've never actually made it this far. I feel fine. I do not sound as winded as I did when I was at work. I am off. I mentioned that last video. I have been enjoying these last... Oh my goodness, excuse me, my little nose looked like a pig just there. I have been enjoying these few days that I've had lounging and getting naps and sleeping. My oldest two are in high school right now. They have finals this week, like I mentioned before. So they only have a couple more days of school, all three of them, before Christmas break lets out. And then we're all prepping to go to Vegas next week for induction. But I feel really good. I feel a lot better than I did when I was at work all the time and back and forth and not sleeping well. And I'm still not really sleeping well. The last couple nights I've been able to get a lot more sleep. But I'm still finding every once in a while. Just 2 nights ago, I got up and at 1 o'clock, it seems to be 1 o'clock in the morning. I can sleep till about 1. And then 1 o'clock, I get up to go to the bathroom and I am wide awake. The other night, I turned on the TV and I watched some stupid Hallmark Christmas love story movie. And I ate some goldfish. And I played some video games on my phone, and I woke my husband up and finally fell back asleep about 4:30, which is about the norm. Between 1 and 4 is real hard for me to sleep. Excuse me. I'm like this all day. And then I try to nap not too long during the day because then I feel like I'm not going to be able to sleep at night. I have basically taken the last couple of days off. Like I said, last week I got my note from my doctor. I was supposed to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. And I have not. It's Tuesday, so I'm in the middle of my work week, which I'm not working. And I feel okay. I feel good. I am feeling much better now that I'm getting a little bit more rest and I'm not running my butt off. The last 2 days at work were really rough on me. The last day especially, I was in our labor and delivery triage. It's like our labor and delivery ER. Where you come it's where you go when you think you're in labor or you think there's something wrong or baby's not moving or doc says, hey, I need you to go to the hospital so we can monitor you a little bit better. And that day was just insane. We saw so many patients and both of the girls in there that day were pregnant. I am much farther along than the other gal that was in there with me, but we both struggled so hard because it was so busy in there. And that really, the day before I was tired, I think, but that day right there, I said, I'm done. The next day I had a doctor's appointment and I said, I'm done. I can't, I'm finished. I can't take it anymore. So, yeah, it's been nice. My doc texted me yesterday and asked me how I was feeling. I told him I'm feeling great. I feel better that I'm resting a little bit more and not running around all the time at work. My parents have arrived. My parents, being the baby's parents, they got in on Friday. They slept all day Friday and a part of Saturday, I believe, and said that they went and did some shopping for the household just because they rented a rather large house, is my understanding. I'm not sure who's with them. Originally they told me that it was going to be them, mom and dad, then his parents, her parents, and I believe her sister, but I don't know who's actually with them. So I'm not sure. I haven't broached that subject, but I'm okay with whoever is there. I'm excited for them. But they're here. They slept. They went and got some household stuff. So they were going to do some baby shopping this week. I went and got them just a little gift. I don't really know what to get them. They don't celebrate Christmas, but my husband, being the Christmas fanatic that he is like, we have to get them something. And the dad is very into Harley Davidsons. So my husband went to our local motorcycle shop and just got him a shirt from one of our motorcycle shops. And I guess got her a matcher shirt. We haven't gotten that one yet. She's teeny tiny, so they had to special order it because they didn't have it in her size. And we're all making plans to go up to Las Vegas next Tuesday, because that will be the day after Christmas. So it's the 26th. I'm gonna yawn again. Oh my god. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'm excited they're here, and I'm very nervous that they're here. I didn't anticipate that. I'm very nervous about meeting them again. I haven't seen them. It's legitimately been an entire year. It has been over a year since I saw these people in person, and I only saw mom. My mother, my intended mother, I hate that word. The mom came to the meeting. Dad had something he had to do. And so he couldn't make it. There was a business thing that came up or something. I'm not 100%. The mutual friend of ours translated, and he just said she wanted me to tell you she's sorry that her husband couldn't make it because there was some business thing that popped up. So, I don't know. So I only met her. I haven't actually met him yet. I'm very nervous about that. And I'm nervous because they're coming to my doctor's appointment on Thursday. I don't know. I'm just very nervous about that. They are bringing a translator who is also our agency owner. He represents the parent side of things. He's the the IP coordinator. And I think really, okay, I never thought. I think really I'm more nervous about that than I am anything. Agency, independent, what agency to pick. I haven't really touched on that so much. I was with an agency previously. We know that. I called it, and essentially they dropped me after my failed attempt at medications last summer. And I said, I'm done. You guys, if you've been following, know that I struggled with that a lot, and I felt very apprehensive about going into surrogacy again. And obviously it all worked out because here we are. But I really loved that agency. I didn't like how it ended. I felt that after 2 years with their agency, I would have just liked a little bit more sympathy or empathy from my coordinator and the owner, who I felt I had become friends with. And I kind of just got kind of like okay, you tried. Good. There you go. Have a good day. Like it was like, doop, off to the side you go. Next one, please. And I didn't enjoy that part of it. That is legitimately the only part I did not enjoy about that agency. But she made it very clear that she wouldn't rematch me. And so I approached somebody else who was with a different agency, and I was explaining it to her, and she was like, just please give it one more chance. And my mutual friend approached me about the parents, and he's like, hey, they really like you, just give it one more chance. And so I kind of was like, okay, I'll give this a go. I was very apprehensive about it. I'm very nervous that my body would do the same thing over again. I got a lot of support from my agency coordinator. But it's a very different agency. It is this agency is owned by a more traditional Chinese man. He's from China. He has more Chinese than he does English. And I don't know if it's just a cultural difference between between it or if it's his personality. My coordinator asked me not to handle him directly because she goes, I handle him much better. And I don't really like it when he talks to my surrogates. So me and him, to put it politely, have gone back and forth more than once. And he I kind of, a couple of the times in the process, got the impression of it was a you need to be doing as you're told and not be thinking for yourself type of thing, which, come on now. Raise your hand if you're an American woman. Raise your hand if you know one single American woman who's just going to do as she's told just because she's told by a man. No. Especially not somebody like me who comes from a family of women. Men were not a stronghold in my family. I did not grow up with a father figure. I was into my teens before my mom got remarried and he stuck around. I mean, really growing up, my closest father figure was my Uncle Gary, who, I didn't see every day, but I mean, he was the closest thing I had to a father figure. And even still, he he knew when to stop. He knew the limits of my family's women. And so I come from a strong woman line of people. Like, my family is all women. My grandmother was a single mom of 5 girls that she raised on her own on one income. They were poor as dirt. The 5 girls had almost exclusively girls. We have like maybe 4 boys out of the 5 girls who've had kids, and all of them have, I think we only have 1 out of the 5 that only has 1 child. No, 2 of them. The other ones have 2 or 3 each or something. I mean, it's basically all women in my family, and we're all very strong-headed and very opinionated, and there's not many of us in my family. Even my daughter, who is 16, is like I am. We're all very strong-headed. So to be presented with a man who thinks that I need to be controlled, I guess, didn't work for me. So me and him went rounds in the beginning, especially because he wanted me to just do as I was told, and that wasn't going to work for me. And my agency owner is a very strong-headed Jersey woman, and I don't think I've met a woman from Jersey who was not opinionated, but strong-willed, I guess, and knows how to speak her mind. Maybe I'm just picking good friends. I don't know, but so yeah, he had 2 of us just barking at him a lot, especially with me because I'd been through contracts before, and I'd kind of been through this process. I knew a little bit more, and he didn't really, I don't know, just didn't appreciate that I was pushing back on a lot of things. So it's been an interesting ride with him. So I'm not particularly excited that he's going to be there on Thursday, but I need him there because I don't have a translator, and I don't speak Chinese, and my doctor doesn't speak Chinese, and there's no Chinese people in his office. And the mutual physician friend is not going to be there. I don't know why. Originally my parents had told me that they were going to use some translating software, and they'd be all right. And I believe we were still talking through WeChat. And they made it sound like they were going to use a translator software and that it was just going to be us, that I didn't have to worry. But now it's changed. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I want to make sure that they're comfortable and that they have a chance to ask questions and get those questions answered. My concern comes that his English is not as good as I would like it to be. He has very good English, not as good as my doctor friend, obviously. So I worry about a little bit. In the hospital, I've instructed everybody and encouraged everybody to please use translation services, because the hospital, I don't know if anybody knows this, if you go into the hospital and you do not speak the language in the United States, they're required to use a medical translation service. Every single healthcare facility, not offices, healthcare facility like hospitals, urgent cares, things like that, are required to use a translator line. Um, a lot of times they do not. They use somebody who can translate in the office for them. Urgent cares, I would imagine, are a little bit more lax on this. But hospitals, I mean, I'm guilty of it sometimes too. But if they're talking to you about medications or procedures or care or anything like that, they're supposed to use a medical translation service. Our hospital really rides that because we have a very high population of Hispanic patients who do not speak English, they only speak Spanish. I do not have enough Spanish to say some of the stuff I need to say. I have a little bit of Spanish, like "Hola, me llamo jengibre," which literally translates to "Hello, they call me ginger root." But I have very basic medical Spanish in a very limited capacity, and I can't explain that stuff to people. So we have a translation line that we use to translate for these patients. I have asked my charge nurse, my clinical educator, and my manager if my parents, while I am in labor, if the parents fall under, because technically they're not patients while I am still pregnant. They don't have any say in anything essentially because ultimately I have to make those decisions. But I asked if they still have the right to translation services. And I don't know if they're just doing it because it's me or if it's normal. I don't know. But everybody has assured me that absolutely yes. Once baby comes out, baby's in nursery, absolutely 110% because they signed for baby. They're in charge. They're the medical decision makers. But while I'm in labor, they said basically just encourage people to use a translation line because I want to make sure that they understand what's going on. You know, God forbid, knock on wood, something happens and there's an emergency. I don't want them freaking out, not understanding, getting half of the information. Because what I have noticed with our agency owner is that he tends to sugarcoat. And that is why we use medical translators and not family members to translate. Because, hey, your baby's heart rate is really low. We need to do an emergency C-section because there's a legitimate chance your child could die. And we ask the sister over here to translate, and she says, oh, they need to do a C-section because the baby is unhappy. Not, let me explain to you how serious this is. Let me give you the sugar-coated version of it. And we don't want that. We need to be direct and honest with them and tell them the real situation when things like that happen. So everybody has assured me that they are allowed that even while I'm in labor, so I just have to request it. So, but that makes me a little bit nervous because, I mean, what if I go in this week and my blood pressure's high or I don't know, something bad happens and then he's there and he doesn't want to give them the bad news. I can't have that. That's not going to work for me at all. So, I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it. Plus, I don't think he likes me very much and I don't really like him. So I asked my husband to come with me. I'm hoping he will, but he'll have to take a day off from work because we're going to have to drive up to Las Vegas. And he doesn't want to take a day off from work. I told him he's stupid because I don't want to go by myself. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's that. But they're here. I'm excited to see them. I'm nervous to see them. They keep asking me if I'm going to stay with them. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. At first they asked if mom had asked me if I would stay with them for 30 days after the delivery. And I told her I really appreciated the gesture. But I had to politely decline because that's a really long time to be away from home. And I have responsibilities here that I can't ignore. My husband only has so much time off to take care of the children in the house. And my mom is going to come down and watch the house while we're up there delivering. And that she can only take so much time to stay down there because she has her own home and animals. And she has like a little mini Tijuana farm. And she can't leave her animals that long. And it was super polite. I love it. I appreciate it, but I just can't. So then the next time we talked, she asked me if I would please stay with her the week before delivery. No, it's so bad. Sorry. Which again is just the sweetest thing ever. And I really think it's a cultural thing. I really hope it's a cultural thing because I don't want them to feel like they have to care for me or that, I need to be like a kept woman. It kind of makes me uncomfortable because, I love this family. I love this family, and I think they're great, and I'm excited for them. But I feel like that kind of borderlines on like the TV image of what surrogates are. Like we're just some hoochie coo who needs to be kept in a fancy apartment and are trying to up our position. I don't know. It just makes me feel weird, like I'm taking advantage, and I don't like it. And I have to. I declined again. I told him I'm like I can't. You know, it's a week before Christmas, and they don't celebrate Christmas, so I know they don't see the importance of it is to us, but. I don't know. And she's like, I want to take care of you personally. And I think in my head, I feel so rude because I'm telling them no. And I feel like I'm disincluding them, but I just can't do that. I would just feel so bad. And like I was taking like so much advantage of them. And I mean, this goes back to I'm hoping that they're doing it because they're just so appreciative and this is the norm for them. But at the same time, I don't know how to explain to them. They have already done so much for me. And I've talked about this before. They have done so much for my family. You know, we all know that many, almost all surrogates are compensated in the United States. There's very few altruistic surrogates in the United States, and there's some states that don't allow comped surrogacy. I think Oregon's one of them. And in the UK, you can't be comped for it. And I think maybe Canada, you can't either. I might be wrong there. I feel like I read that somewhere. But I'm absolutely comped. And the amount I am comped is a nice sum. It's a nice sum of money that I am compensated for this pregnancy. And that money has absolutely helped our family. We are in no way, shape, or form in a bad spot. We were absolutely financially stable. But we had a roof leak. You want to see it? Let's see. Can you see that? That's from last Christmas. We had a roof leak. It rained horrendously here. One of the few times it rains in Arizona. And it rained so bad that it flooded my entire bedroom roof. We have to, let's see, there, and I don't know if you can see it way over there. All the roofing is damaged. We have to pull all the roofing down and we have to fix it. Well, we've got blown insulation in our attic crawl space, so we have to get all that sucked out too. And it's not cheap. We'd have the outside roof fixed first. Well, that was a lot of money. That was almost 10 grand to get the roof fixed, and we had no idea how we were going to pay for it. And at the time when it happened, we were kind of like, okay, well, we're not sure about the surrogacy thing. And, it's paid off like debt that we had. And again, these aren't things that were making or breaking us, but they were things that were weighing on us. And the compensation from this surrogacy helped with those things, and it fixed, the roof was a big deal for my husband. He was stressing about it, and if it was going to rain, even if it sprinkled, he was up in there making sure, trying to figure out where the leak was coming from. We couldn't find the leak. The roofers, when they came out, said he had put so much patch on that he had sealed one of our air conditioners because we thought it was coming in around our AC unit. So that he had sealed the AC unit so thoroughly with the patching compound that water was accumulating inside the air conditioner, and there was stagnant water sitting in there. And they had, when they lifted the AC to roof underneath it, they just had like a flood of water. So they've raised the AC somehow to make sure that it doesn't happen again, and told my husband, don't do that again. So, I mean, it was just a huge problem for us, and it's fixed now. I mean, and I don't know how to explain to them without sounding like a greedy, money-hungry little hooker that they have already done so much for us just by letting us do this and by compensating us for this and, agreeing to this whole situation. And I know it's not cheap on any end whatsoever, but I just don't want them to feel like they owe me anymore because they've already done so much for us. And so for them to ask me to stay with them, and then I feel so bad. I feel like I'm taking advantage because I've already gotten so much from this family. So I feel very weird about it, but at the same time I feel very conflicted because I feel like I'm not including them. You know, I'm 2.5 hours away from them. They're in Las Vegas, and I'm on the border of Nevada and Arizona, which is about a 2.5 hour drive. So I feel bad because they're here and we haven't even seen them yet. I mean, they've been here 4 days. I haven't seen them at all. If I was in Vegas, it would be different. If I was at work this week, I could see them after work and go say hello, maybe grab a bite to eat. You know, they come to the hospital and say hello if they wanted, whatever it may be, but I can't do that now because I'm so far away. And I just feel bad because I just don't know what to do about it. And I mean, I don't know. And they, you know, they've sent gifts and they bought the kids Christmas gifts, and it's all very strange. It's all very strange for us. And we're not people who generally let others, outsiders, into our circle. We're very close knit. We have very few friends. We have a very small circle of support. We don't have a lot of close friends. We don't have a lot of people over to our house, and we don't go to other people's homes regularly. And so it's very weird for us, this whole situation. And I didn't think it would be, but it is. It's very weird. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to handle this, but I do see them on Thursday, and I'm going to try to spend some time with them, regardless if my husband is there or not. Maybe my appointment is very early, so maybe we'll just grab a bite to eat afterwards, like an early lunch, or maybe go do some shopping. I don't know. So if anybody's got any suggestions on how to handle that and not feel weird about it, let me know. Excuse me. But I got nothing. I got nothing. So hopefully next video I'll upload this one, and I'll do a post delivery or a post appointment update as well. See what my doc says. I don't think he's gonna say anything different. I'm contracting a lot right now, and we'll go from there. So all right, I will see you next time.